Hey guys, Geeky Girl 25 here. I didn't really plan on doing this video, but I figured, why not? Oh, sorry, it's really echoey in here, I guess. Out here, and gonna be a little bit of a mental health video here. I think I'm at the Dustin Dam Memorial, which is put on by an organization called RMHC, Range Mental Health Center. AUA maybe had a hand in it too, I think. So it's Arrowhead Economic Opportunity Agency, and they're both really good organizations. Honestly, they're really great. And the Dustin Dam Fund just helps people with mental illness get rides to like appointments and help them out in other ways. To better access the services that they need. So it's really good. I know I've had mental health issues myself, and I have, as soon as I found out about it, I started coming to the fundraisers. That was, I want to say, like 3 or 4 years ago. There was one I think I couldn't make it to, but I do come every chance I get. It's kind of getting over with now. You can see there's kind of back by this. Okay, well, I don't know if you can see, but let me try turning the camera around. Okay, that did not turn around. Hold on. You can see kind of the fun down there. It's a little bit blurry. Sorry. But you can see there's kind of a bunch of people there. They're just handing out raffles right now. People that won prizes and stuff. I didn't do any raffling. So, well, I bought one ticket, but it was for a prize you don't have to be present for. So I'm not down there, and with my luck, I'm probably not going to win anyways. This is just a school building. But yeah, so it's a walk for mental health. They call it a walk. It's more like a fundraiser thing. You can walk around the park, or sometimes it'll be in the Miners building, which has a pretty good history by itself. Right now it's nice out, so we're in Alcott. So it's in Alcott Park, which is the biggest park in my area. This place is huge. Maybe it's not as big as like you would find in like Central Park in New York or something, but for up here, it's like 3 city blocks. So it's huge. It's just a big open area. You have a lot of events. You can come up here. There's Land of the Loon in June. That's just like a craft fair. Right now, obviously, it's Mental Health Week. They got the Dustin Dam walk over there, which is what I came here for, just to donate. I was planning on donating about $10, and then I ended up owing some money to the library, so I had to go pay that. It was just like $2 or $1.50, I think. And then I thought, I couldn't remember if the food here was free or not, so I had to go. So I ended up going to the ATM on my way here and getting 20, because I wasn't able to get any smaller denominations. But the food turned out to be free, so I ended up donating $27. But it's for a good cause, so it's good. It's worth it. And they help people with the bus rides. I've gotten tickets from that a couple of times, not too often, but a couple of times, and I think they might help even with like co-pays once in a while if we qualify, and just a whole bunch of other stuff like that to help people get the help that they need for mental health, addiction, all that sorts of ugly stuff that society doesn't want to talk about. And we really should be. So that's why I kind of came up with the idea. Maybe I should do a mental health video today. So I guess the meat of the video, like I said, I myself, I do have mental health issues, or I have anyway. I have shizoeeffective disorder. I think I have bipolar type, but I'm not really sure. It's either bipolar or depressive type, one of those two. And basically what that means is, well, it'd probably be easier just to explain it from the beginning. So I graduated high school. Everything was fine. The summer graduation was great. I got a job. I sold Cutco, which is like really high-end kitchen cutlery, and so like knives, and had my party. And I only did the Cutco gig for like 2 months because then I had decided I was going to go to college in Morris, to the University of Minnesota Morris campus, which isn't the main one. It's a smaller campus of the university, which is why I decided to go there, because I don't like that big. Anyway, sorry guys, I had a phone call there. Anyway, so let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, I had decided to go to the University of Minnesota Morris. It's a smaller campus of the university. The main one is in Minneapolis, and it's just, I can't deal with that busy. Oh my god, that place is huge. I used to go there for medical issues when I was a kid, and it was like, it's too big. So I went to Morris. It's much smaller. Anyway, I was there maybe almost a year, and while I was there, I started having some serious mental issues. At this point, I didn't know it was even possible to have mental issues. I'd never heard of such a thing, so I didn't know what was going on, but I knew something was up. And anyway, so I've been seeing a college counselor, and I went in with disability because I do have autism and a little bit of cerebral palsy and a couple other things too, that I was born with. And so I went to, and I had a meeting one day with disability services actually at the college, and they sat me in a room, and they had the disability services people. My mom was there. I think like a couple of the reps from the dorm rooms were there, one of them, and a couple of my teachers, my professors were there, my advisor was there, a lot of people in this small room. And they were basically like, look, your grades are not gonna come up. You've been too psychotic, you just haven't been able to focus on your homework, which was true. And they were like, okay, either you willingly withdraw and we erase this semester from your record completely, or we fail you. And that's going to look really bad on your college career. So after a 2-hour appointment, I basically left crying. I'm not going to lie, I was bawling. And I did withdraw. They say voluntarily. I think it was more like, I still think it was more like coercion. They basically forced me to voluntarily withdraw. They said, you know, you'll be thanking me in the future for this. No. I still can't bring myself to thank them. Maybe it was the only thing they knew how to do, but I think there could have been better options at the time. I'm not fully sure what those are, or were, or could have been, but I'm pretty sure they were. That there were. So I did voluntarily withdraw, and I did have to go home. And I didn't start treatment right away, because like I said, we had no idea what mental illness was. I went home, moved back in with my mom. My dad died when I was little, so he's not in the picture. And so I moved back with my mom. And this was maybe 2012, maybe like a year after I graduated, not even. And I think, I graduated in June of 2011. This was like April 2012. So it's not like any of this really happened overnight, but it did happen sort of quickly, I guess, like over the span of like a year-ish. And then, or like 6 months anyway. And then, so I came back home, and we had no connections anywhere to anything. We didn't know mental health services existed at all. So, well, we kind of had an inkling, but not really. Anyway, I had seen a child therapist when I was growing up. I was just kind of like really rebellious and whatever, and so my mom made me go see a therapist, and we contacted her just for lack of resources. She was pretty much it, and so we said, you know, hey, we need some help, and she didn't know what was going on because she deals with children, you know. I was like 19, and so we called her, and eventually she got me signed up with or she said, well, well, actually, she didn't get me signed up with anyone, but really, but she said, well, I think you've got schizophrenia. And so, you know, at that point I was like, oh my God, you know, like, you see schizophrenia on like the news or on TV or wherever, and it's just like, you know, it's bad. And so I did, and so she said, well, you need an official diagnosis for that. And I said, you know, I think that's what you and she said, well, I think that's what you have, but you need an official diagnosis, otherwise you really can't get anywhere. So she said, okay, well, I'll try and have my boss come down, but you know, he's retiring and he deals with kids too, because that's what we do. And okay, so he declines to come down, but she comes out one more time, more or less out of graciousness than anything, I think, really, and I'm so thankful to her for that. So if you're my child therapist and you're watching this, thank you so much. And she was just like, you know, Google psychiatry, basically. That's what we ended up doing. We ended up Googling a psychiatrist in the area. And first I found actually like a hypnotherapist. I did go there, but then he didn't accept my insurance, so I stopped going there. And I only saw him like once or twice anyways. But then we found a psychiatrist after that, and I got in, and I think the first time I ever had a meeting with someone who could actually help was probably October of 2012. I came home, so I first noticed symptoms probably in like November of 2011, somewhere between like November of 2011 to February of 2012. Came home from college in April of 2012 and finally got help in October of that year. So that's how long it took. It's a long time, like a really long time. And so I did a full workup, diagnosis. Hold on again. Another phone call. I get a ride that's, well, she thinks she's a ride. She's not giving me a ride. I borrowed her my charger, and I kind of wanted it back, and she's like, I'm getting antsy. Rah, 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 rah. Like, sorry, you have to wait just a little bit, like 10 minutes. But okay, anyway, back to the video. So I came home from college. I finally got help in October, and I went intensive. I didn't go into like a psychiatric ward at a hospital, but I did go to the emergency room one night, and I did go to a crisis center, which is outpatient, but it's sort of like a psychiatric wing, sort of. You really can't do anything there. It's a whole, my experience was very, very boring. Very boring. And I was there for 5 days. And I guess if I had stayed there like another day or two, then I would have been transferred to an actual psychiatric hospital facility in another town, in yet another town, because I was in St. Cloud at this point, not at home or at college. Anyway, but I got out of there, and I went from there to doing 4 days of group therapy. That was 4 hours for 4 days a week. 4 hours per day, 4 days a week. Plus I saw a psychiatrist like once a month, and an individual therapist for an hour once a week. So it was a lot. And then I kind of slowly like weaned off of that over the next probably year or so, and I got a job in like August of 2013. I was well enough to get a job, I figured, so I did, and I worked there for about a year. And then I ended up moving up here just for more schooling, because I didn't have a degree when I left Morris, so I came up here figuring a 2-year college would be a little bit easier and cheaper. And I did get an AA degree here. So just like, I haven't really gone over any of my symptoms, I guess, but at my very worst, I was, which was like 2012-ish, kind of that whole year, I was hallucinating, delusional, paranoid, depressed, manic. You're depressed and manic all at once. So it was hell. So I was hallucinating. First off, I saw like pink smoke everywhere. I had imaginary friends. I've always had imaginary friends, I guess. I think it's like part of my autism almost, kind of, but I've always had them since I was like 4 years old. And I knew something was wrong because they started acting really weird. Like, they started like, my imaginary friends were never like mean to me. They never told me to do anything bad or anything. But they started like actually attacking me. And that's kind of when I knew something was wrong. So all through that year, they were still attacking me. Everything was nasty. And the ones that weren't attacking me, I usually ended up somehow hurting them. Or at least I thought I did. I also thought like the whole planet was basically an illusion of some kind that I had just walked into and I needed to get out of. So I spent hours a day just like trying to retrace steps and stuff, escaping this illusion. And it was just horrible. And then I had the depression on top of that, so I had no energy to do anything except for basically hallucinate and be delusional. And then I had the mania at the same time as depression. And yes, that can happen. They're kind of two opposite, like polar opposite symptoms, but they can happen at the same time. And they did for me. So I had too much energy and not enough at the same time. And that was me, because you would see me at 10 o'clock at night. I would be doing like 100 jumping jacks or something, just 10 o'clock at night, because I couldn't sleep, because it was physically painful for me to sit still with how much energy I had. And like, I'm laughing kind of, but it was true. It physically hurt for me to sit still because I had that kind of energy. And even if I sit down like and laze about all day and do absolutely nothing except play video games and go on YouTube now, I don't have that much energy when I go to bed. Not even close. So anyway, that was just, it was horrible. And then I had the paranoia too. I always thought someone was like trying to break in, or that some part of me had gotten left on the other side of the door, like my arm or something. So I kept opening and relocking all the doors like 15 times every night. And it was horrible. I don't wish mental illness upon my worst enemy. Like, in the history of the earth, or in the history of mankind, or at least in the history of mankind, there's probably like 5 people I would wish mental illness on. And my guess is they probably already had it, which is why they were so bad, like Hitler. If I had to pick one person from history I would wish mental illness on, it would be Hitler. And he already had it. You know, it's been documented that at least there's a thought going around that he probably had some kind of like depression or bipolar, and maybe was like psychotic or delusional as well. And then they had him on meds that at that time they thought would help, but we know today are actually very addictive and illegal. I think I heard somewhere they had him on like an early rendition of cocaine, or maybe meth or something like that. And yeah, it was nasty. But so thankfully treatment's gotten a little better than that. But still. So I'm at this Dust and Dam Fund now, because they just you know, it's something I really believe in. It's something close. And I have gotten a lot of services from the organizations that put it on. I do usually end up paying for them, just because I feel like I don't really need the funds from the Dustin Dam Memorial most of the time. I feel like they should go to people who need it more than I do, and I do have like co-pays and stuff that for me personally won't cover. I think for a lot of people it does, but for me it wouldn't, so I do need to pay those. And just, I guess that's sort of just touching on a lot of mental health subjects in this video. Sorry if it got a little long, but I can definitely do more in-depth videos on some whatever aspect of it down the road. It doesn't bother me none. So if you guys want to see more mental health videos, just let me know down in the comments. And I'm going to try and go and catch my ride. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to leave any thoughts, or if you want to see more mental health videos, anything like that, down in the comments. Thank you. And if you have mental health issues, I hope you get help. I hope you're doing okay. And even if you're not, I hope you get better. Props to you. If you don't have the mental health issues, I hope you never ever get them. But if you do, don't be afraid to ask for help. You really need it. So you might really need it. So, see you later.